Hey. Hey, what's up, Totorettas? I am just going to change the title of this and share it up. Nonsense. We're talking about Kavanaugh. We got a couple other things on the agenda. What the hell else were we going to talk about? We're going to talk about fake hate crimes was on the agenda. Fake hate crimes and the tow truck thing. And maybe some whatchamacallit too. All right. Tow truck scandal. All right. Now, what were they called? What's the name of the company? Direnzo's. All right. All right, folks. So, I'm going to go ahead right now and share this link on... If I had a producer, they'd do this themselves, but it is what it is. So, I'm going to go ahead and copy this link, and I'm going to share it on the Turtle Boy Sports Super Terrific Happy page, as well as the Clarence Woods Emerson page. And I would appreciate if you guys would share it as well. Let people know, hey, Turtle Boy's got this YouTube channel. You might not know about it. It's more than just a blog now. We got original content on the podcast that no one else is getting, so definitely share it. So I'm going to share it there. I'm also going to share it on the personal page that is back from suspension, Clarence Woods Emerson as well. So feel free to share either of those ones, and then we will get this party started. All right, let's do it. All right, what's up, Turtle Riders? Welcome to Uncle Turtle Boy's Late Night Garage Podcast. This episode is always brought to you by our good friends over at Garage Doors Plus in Quincy. If you have one of those old rickety garages, folks, you come home, you gotta get out of the car, open it up like a moron, get back in the car, drive the car into the garage, get out, pull it down. Next thing you know, you got a bad shoulder injury like I did from blogging. You never know. Just avoid it all by calling our friends at Garage Doors Plus in Quincy. You can find them online at gdplus.com. They do quality craftsmanship. They will update your garage. They will install a whole system, whatever you need. All right? If you're one of those hoarding type weirdos, they'll take care of that too. Seriously, give them a call. They'll come over that day. They're going to give you a price that's so fair, you can have no choice but to hire them on the spot. And they're going to get it done that day. If it's not Chris, it'll be one of his workers. They'll get it done. Trust me. You're going to thank me later. You're going to get a nice little button. You're going to press it. Garage door's going to go up. Boom. Garage door's going down. Garage Doors Plus in Quincy. gdplus.com. All right. And also just a reminder, if you're feeling generous, guys, and you want to support the journalism that we do, please hit up that legal defense fund that we have at the top of our Facebook page, or just hit the donate button. It's all graciously appreciated. Or buy something in the Turtle Boy store. If you're watching on YouTube right now, there's a shop tab right there on and it takes you to our beautiful store. Click on that. It'll change your world forever. Or just get the $10 a month, no ads. All right. It definitely improves your viewing experience, and it helps us kind of weather the storm, if you will, because people forget we're still being sued by a whole bunch of people, and it's a pain in the ass. So I really appreciate that. All right, so I want to talk about some things today, and hopefully we have a good crowd here. So first thing I want to talk about, guys, is the Kavanaugh bullshit. Now, good God, now maybe this doesn't affect you guys in the same way it does me because it's like national news. Who cares, right? But it pisses me off because it's happened to me, right? A lot of people forget that. Like, I've literally I get accused of being a rapist, or I can't keep it. I can't keep track of it sometimes. Sometimes, whenever somebody gets mad at me, right, or gets roasted in a Turtle Boy blog, or one of their friends does, or whatever, it turns into this whole thing about they immediately go to, oh, you diddled a kid, right? Sometimes I diddled a kid. Sometimes I sexually harassed a girl at a Bills game who was a woman. Other times I raped a girl at the Bills game. You never know. They just say shit, right? And that's all it is, right? And when that Buffalo thing first went down, and I talk about this in the book, right? So James Krieger writes this article, and he interviews some woman who was behind us allegedly, he does. I have no idea. He doesn't get her name, nothing. We're supposed to take this guy's word that he interviews her. And she goes into like vivid detail about things that I'm doing at the game. Now the blog doesn't exist anymore because it's been taken down because he was successfully sued for libel. So you can't even read it anymore. But it was all made up, right? Nothing could have possibly occurred. But so many people believed it. All of my students read it and believed it, right? Why? Because they wanted to believe it. Kids that were and people obviously don't like him because he was appointed by Donald Trump, and he's replacing a moderate on the court. He's not replacing, Gorsuch was replacing a conservative, so it was no net gain, right? And so they saw this guy and they're like, well, we have to destroy him, right? We have to pull this woman out of a hat and she's going to say some things. And guess what, guys? It was all a lie. And what pisses me off about Republicans, right, is especially like that hack Ben Shapiro and all these people, is they like were afraid to call Christine Blasey Ford a liar, right? They walk this middle ground where, well, she seems credible and I believe him and I believe her. You can't believe both. One of them is lying, right? One of them is lying. Spoiler alert, it's her. She's the liar. Everything he says he can back up. He's got like calendars and whatnot. He has evidence. She had like 3 people that she said were there to witness the whole thing. All 3 of them deny it. The woman who she claims, her friend Leland Kaiser, has come forward now and said that she was pressured by her other friends into lying and threatened into saying that this happened when it didn't. There's literally zero evidence. So, all these people are still going after him. Why? Because they don't like what he stands for. And they don't like what I stand for. And that's why I identify with Judge Kavanaugh. It's been a year since that nonsense went down. I'll never forget that, guys. I'll never forget that. That's when I realized, like, you can hate on Republicans all you want. They would never do anything like that, ever. Right? They've done some shady shit, Republicans, right? Like with Merrick Garland. You know what they didn't do with him when Obama nominated him in early 2016? They just didn't vote. They didn't vote. They're just like, well, we don't have to vote, so we're just not going to. What they didn't do was pull a whore out of a hat and say, Merrick Garland raped this chick over here. And then he raped this chick, and then he raped this chick. That didn't happen. Because that's classless to do something like that. You have no soul. You're human garbage if you do something like that. This guy's got kids. He's got a wife. He did nothing wrong. And then when they couldn't get him on that, they went towards you're a drunk. You're drinking and stuff like that. So any male who drank in college now at this point is by default probably a rapist. That was established. That was the precedent that they established with that freak show of a hearing. It was disgusting. And so what does the New York Times do this weekend? They print this freaking article, right? And this is one of the most, they're like, bombshell. We got this whole new thing on Kavanaugh. We got more. Accuser number 2, Debbie Ramirez. We have things that validate what she says. Okay, what do you got? So I read it all over. And the gist of it is that Kavanaugh, they say, was well known at Yale parties to take his dong out, right? and just put it in girls' hands or whatever. Throw it in your face. You just like to have it out. And there's one guy, Max Steyer, who, by the way, was a Clinton attorney during the Monica Lewinsky sexual harassment hearings. So he defended Clinton, who was actually guilty of this, right? And he's got ties to them. So he allegedly says they don't even interview him. They just talk to two people who are anonymous. They just say that they're officials. Official what? I don't know. We'll just have to trust them. They're officials. And they spoke with this Max Steyer fella. And Max Steyer says that he was at a party once. And Kavanaugh was standing there just in the middle of a room, just naked for some reason, or his dong was out, just standing there. That's what he does. He just stands there naked. And then his friends brought in not Debbie Ramirez, some other chick, who, by the way, doesn't remember any of this. So we're listening to men. We're supposed to believe women. The woman doesn't remember, so we're supposed to believe men now. Okay. So they bring her in, Kavanaugh's friends. And this is where it gets really wild. It says that they grabbed his Johnson and placed it in the woman's hands. That is how I knew that this story, guys, was written by women, right? No man, and I know, I feel like these feminist journalists have this fairy tale version of what like bro frat life culture is like. It's not like that, right? Sure, there's like, there's a lot of dirty talk. I was in a fraternity. There's a lot of dirty talk. There's a lot of talk about like chicks, who nailed who, who you try and hook up with. It goes both ways though. Girls do that too, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But what doesn't happen, and what would never happen, is imagine I called my friends up and it's like, hey dude, hey, here's what we're going to do tonight, okay? I'm going to stand in the middle of the room with my dick out. And then you guys are going to come in with a girl. I don't care who, just as long as she's a female. And then, instead of me putting my dick in her face, I'm going to have you grab my dick. And then you're going to place my dick in her hands. That is the gayest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Right? Are they accusing him of being homosexual? Because no heterosexual man would ever let another heterosexual man, or any man, touch his ding-a-ling. That's a fact, ladies, okay? That would never, ever, ever, ever happen. If you read that, and you thought this is believable, then you're a fucking idiot. That's the only thing. You're a fucking moron. None of the other details really matter. The story itself is the most obvious lie I've ever seen. And that was their bombshell. That was their bombshell. I mean, this is insane. And this is the New York freaking Times. This is supposed to be like the model, the standard for journalism. And by the way, the reporters who wrote it, these two chicks, they're publishing a book. Oh, how convenient is that? So it's basically a free ad for their book. And now every single senator running for president, except for like Yang, well, he's not a senator, and Biden, Sleepy Joe, are like the only ones that haven't called for his impeachment. All of those other gutless hack cowards have called for impeachment. Impeachment. A couple of our congressmen. The only congressmen I could find that specifically called for his impeachment in this state are Moulton and, of course, Presley, because she's in the squad. I haven't seen McGovern do it yet. Oh, no. Kennedy did it as well. So there's three. Kennedy's one of the worst, too. He's fuck that guy. Goddamn, I hate him. I hate Joe Kennedy. I don't know. If I had to rank Massachusetts congressmen, it would be really, really hard to rank the worst to the best. Right? I would probably start with worst. Presley has to be the worst because she's in the squad. But then Joe Kennedy's probably up there. Right? And then Catherine Clark's up there. Seth Moulton's very slowly climbing up there too. He used to be better. McGovern's up there, but he's not as bad as the rest. And like when Stephen Lynch and Richard Neal are like the best your state has to offer, you're living in a fucked up state. So anyway, I would love to hear like anybody explain to me how Christine, like how this is legitimate, like how you can possibly take this seriously and be honest with yourself. Just be honest. Just be honest. Be like, look we don't want a Trump-appointed judge on the court. That's it. And we're willing to do anything. Like, we'll make up any lie. It doesn't matter. That's just what we're just here to win. Like, that's it. Just be honest with yourself. I could at least respect that. Don't tell me you believe a word these lying. Shit, a third one. Swetnick? Oh, God. I think she was just telling the story of her life. Getting gangbanged at parties and stuff like that. That wasn't a rape accusation. That was a fantasy. Good Lord. The one that Avenatti pulled out of a bag? Good Lord. So, anyway, like I said, that whole thing makes no sense. And you should honestly just mock anybody who has... Like, if you honestly believe that Kavanaugh let other men grab... How big is his dick? Jesus Christ. That many... You need multiple people to grab his cock? And place it in a woman's hand. If you believe that, you should be mocked. That's it. End of story. So anyway, so that's that. Let's go on to the next topic. Enough of Kavanaugh's dick. Good Lord. I want to talk about... Do you guys watch this? This is the funniest... I'm not going to replay this, but it's on an earlier video. I watched the freaking corn pop video the other day of Joe Biden. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never, ever, ever laughed so hard as fucking corn pop, guys. I could listen to Joe Biden tell stories about his youth all day. Like, it's so funny. I didn't realize how old the guy was. I thought he was a little sharper than this. He got old real quick. And the presidency ages you real quick. If this guy becomes president, oh my God, the things he's going to be saying in 3 years. Good Lord. It's going to be fantastic. So, anyway. There's that one. And what else did I want to talk about? The Fall River recall election's going on right now. It's pretty clear right now. We all knew what was going to happen going into this. There's 3 candidates running. It's a preliminary. So 2 of them advanced to the finals. And this one idiot chick, social justice warrior with a hyphenated last name, is running for some reason. She has no shot. And even with Jasel's background, you know that his base is still going to vote for him. He could literally do anything. They don't care. But last I saw, it was like 58% for the guy Coogan around there, like 26% for Jasel, and like 16% for the idiot. So all that means is they're going to the general, and Jasel's going to get murdered in the general. Like, it's not even going to be close. I'm wondering if he's going to resign before this, because I don't know if he has it in him to lose. I don't think he's ever lost an election before. So how he would stomach that, I feel like he's the kind of guy that would be like, I'm going to go save the rainforest instead. He's just one of those pathological liars that has to always seem like he's winning. So, anyway, I want to talk about this fake hate crime as well that happened, this incident. Because we talk about fake hate crimes on the left a lot because they give us so much to work with. But it needs to be called out on the right as well. So, I saw in Easton over the weekend. South Shore Turtle Girl did a nice little story on this. I think it was Monday morning this came out, that these people are complaining that this guy running a t-shirt stand, a pro-Trump t-shirt stand that also sells probably unlicensed Patriot memorabilia in Easton on the side of the road, got attacked. They said some guys, a few vans pulled up and attacked him. They spit on him and all this stuff. Not good. Now, you see a picture of this, right? And it's clearly like all this Trump shit. When you see this guy's in Massachusetts, like, obviously I'm a Trump person, but like, this is trolling. That's all this is, right? Like, you're literally looking for a reaction from people. You know that these people are unhinged. You know that they're going to come up to you. You know they're going to say shit. And that's exactly what happened, what I figured happened. Like, a couple people got lippy with the guy. But they claimed that he was attacked and all this stuff. And that, what really pissed me off is they blamed the police. They said that the police did nothing. They went to the police and told them about this, and the cops were like, oh, well, you're on your own. And so now they're putting Trump MAGA people into this class of persecuted individuals, right, who are just being attacked like physically. So they're victims now, too. And it's such horseshit, guys. It's such horseshit. As soon as I saw this, I knew it was a lie. It had to be a lie. It couldn't possibly be true. That was what gave it away. Maybe I could believe that some unhinged leftists attacked this guy, but I can't believe that the police just said, fuck you, you're on your own. I don't believe that. That's not possible. The Easton police would have to be corrupt and completely douchey to do something like that. So, then today, we get a little vindication, right? We get a little vindication. Where'd it go? And it turns out none of this ever happened. It was just all made up. They actually interview the t-shirt vendor guy, who is unnamed still. And the vendor guy says, what does he say? Let me read this quote from the Brockton Enterprise. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. So first of all, here's this chick, Sandra Duhamel. So she is supposedly the witness to this. She lives across the street or something. She says, I was there across the street. I saw it happen. Right? Be disappointed in the police. They did nothing. And you look at this chick and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I imagine you look like. And this is the best part. Now that we know that it has not happened, right? Because the vendor himself came forward and said that it wasn't 15 Hispanic people. The woman said, Lorianne Johnson, the woman who started spreading Sandra's lie. Sandra's the liar. And then Lorianne takes her lie and spreads it. And when you speak in an echo chamber like this, because they're in a right-wing Easton group, when you speak in an echo chamber like this, people believe it because they want to believe it. And that's dangerous, man. You should never enclose yourself in circles like that where everybody agrees with you. Because then no one challenges you. You don't become stronger. Your positions don't improve because your positions cannot improve if you are unaware of what the opposition is arguing. And people have an end game. They have a goal. The goal in this case is, the narrative in this case that needs to be achieved is unhinged leftists and illegal immigrants attack American citizens, right? That's the narrative. It doesn't matter how you get there, so long as we achieve that narrative, right? And so when people tell this story that doesn't sound believable, they just go along with it because that's the narrative. Their narrative with the Jussie Smollett lie is that Trump is creating a culture in which Klansmen feel, fully comfortable going out in public and lynching black people. Right? That was the narrative that they were trying to achieve with that. Anybody with a brain knew the Jussie Smollett story was a lie. But to them, as long as the narrative is achieved, the story is put out there, it doesn't matter if it's real or not. It just achieves the narrative. So be wary of being in these groups like that just become echo chambers because ultimately you want to hear something. And anything that satisfies that, anything that goes along with that, you will believe. And that's dangerous, man. You should question everything, all right? It doesn't mean you should disbelieve everything. It just means you should question things. Things that don't seem right, you should ask questions about. Like, having a dick, having your friends grab your dick and put it in a girl's hands, that should be questioned. So should this. As soon as you heard the Easton police didn't do anything, you should immediately question it. And so this is how unhinged these fucking snowflake conservatives are, right? I say this never happened. She says, I was across the street watching. Where were you? So she's like, oh, I saw it all. It happened. Okay. I said, you saw this happen and did nothing? And their response, typical lib response, put words in my mouth. I never said I saw this happening. Whiz bang. You literally just said I was across the street watching it. I mean, this is no different from left-wing delusional. These people, if you're not mocking these people in the same way that you're mocking snowflake leftists, then you're doing it wrong, guys. Right? You should mock everyone. You should mock everybody who's a liar. And that's what Sandra and Lorianne. They're dirty, filthy, right-wing liars, and they should be called out for that. And if you're not calling out people like this, then you have to consider your own bias, right? And you have to consider, do you stand for the truth, right? Because if you're not willing to call out people on your own team, then you're clearly not pursuing the truth. And that's, what we're looking for at Turd Boy. So don't be a whiz bang, all right? Don't mess with corn pop, etc. All right. Let's talk about the last thing, the towing situation. So we all saw this. This is a big story. This is the biggest story we've written in quite some time. What do you guys think of this whole thing? I'm sure most of you listening have probably read this story. It happened yesterday when Central Mass Towing. The former owner of Central Mass Towing is Michael Robidoux. Michael Robidoux died in a car accident. In June. He was driving on Route 20 on one side of the road, and on the other side of the road was coming at him a career criminal who was drunk and high, middle of the day, running away from the police in a routine traffic stop. He had no license. He had been to jail multiple times. He should never have been released. It was a shame that Michael Robidoux had to die because of idiotic activist judges that don't want to lock people up. So whatever. This happens, and the poor guy dies. And because it happens in Auburn, the Auburn police and the state police, most of them they can call any towing company they want, technically. At least the state police can. I'm not sure about town police. Some of them might have contracts. And they can call anyone they want. And most of the time they call Direnzo's, which is in Millbury, because Direnzo's had a lot of connections. Right? Direnzo's, as we saw in a blog published this afternoon, down here, they even back losers just in case they won. Has gotten money from Direnzo's. They have a lot of money to spend on pot. They make bank there, I'm sure. And he's friends with the owner, John Direnzo Jr. is friends with whatchamacallit, a captain from the Holden State Police Barracks, and that would be Robert Johnson. And Robert Johnson always calls Direnzo up if a car breaks down on 190 or 290 or whatever. Interesting. So he's constantly giving this guy business. And all the competitors are like, dude, how am I supposed to make a living doing this? Direnzo's is getting all the calls. So it's messed up, right? Anyway, Direnzo gets the call that day in Auburn, and they tow this guy's car, right? And it's a cheap little beater or whatever. It's not worth much money. But they want it back. The family wants it back for sentimental reasons, which I can understand because, his father died in the car. So, the police don't let that happen because, understandably, it is a piece of evidence in the ongoing crime scene, essentially. So it's at Direnzo's, and nobody can move it, so it's just there. So what does Direnzo's do? They start running up the bill on these people, $150 a day for storage. Finally, they get it back, and it's was it $16,000 and over $14,000 was just in storage fees? Now, this is a former competitor, or a competitor of Direnzo's. They probably don't make nearly as much money. And here is Direnzo's. I mean, think of what a dickhead you have to be to do something like that. Just what a dick move, right? To be, and I'm sorry, I don't want to shit on tow truck people because they got a job to do, and nobody likes a tow truck guy. But they do have a job to do. Most of your interactions with them are probably negative because they took your car, right? But this organization, there's a lot of predatory tow truck companies everywhere because some of them take cars that they're not supposed to. They basically they're like piranhas. They just go around looking for it's dude, don't be a dick. And these people are dicks because charging the family of a dead man, a former competitor too, that much money to get back this worthless piece of car. I mean, you could sell it, but to them it has sentimental value. I'm saying it's worthless in the sense that it's got no trade value. But they just want the car back. That's it. And they can't do it. They can't do it, right? Because they're not going to spend that much money. And so he does. You could do a couple things if you're them in this situation. You could complain to the BBB. You could, contact them directly and try to negotiate, which they did. Now the police told them just call insurance, and that's fucked up too. Because why should insurance pay for this? A lot of people say insurance should pay for it. Why? Do you know how insurance works? When that happens, when insurance companies start paying out claims like that, it affects all of us. Because they don't take that on the chin. The premiums go up for everyone, man. No. Why should insurance pay for that? The car was fixed months ago. They should just waive it. It's really fucking simple. It didn't cost you a dime to keep it there that whole time. Now, I got a call. So the guy does the smart thing. He posts it on Facebook. That is the best thing you can do in this particular situation. Just shame them. Just shame them. Public shaming works. You have to understand, public shaming is the great equalizer in today's society. Some people need it. It corrects behavior. So, this guy, they shamed Direnzo's, as they should, and next thing you know, everybody's tagging Clarence in there. And I'm researching this and I'm commenting on it. And then Direnzo sees it. And Direnzo calls a third party up that knows me. And he calls me up and he says, Direnzo's calling me. He wants to know if you can. He's not asking me to not publish it. Direnzo was. But he's like, this is what he's asking. What should I say? I said, tell him to fuck off. This is not how it works. And he's like, yeah, that's what I figured you'd say. Right? And so he didn't know, and he claimed, he said, oh, well, he's not trying to, what did he say? He's going to forgive the debt. He's going to not, write it off. It's like, well, he's only doing that because he's been caught with his hand in the cookie jar, right? So we're not forgiving this. No. You need to be shamed for this one. Sorry. This is healthy for you. And this is also what I do for a living. You make your money towing people's cars. I make my money by writing about scumbags like you. And quite frankly, this story is cash money, right? This story has gotten over 100,000 views today on the new website, which is fantastic because I got good CPM rates on the new website. I haven't had a blog like this in a long time, right? I finally had a good day for once, financially. And no, I'm not going to give this douchebag, who's probably a fucking millionaire, a fucking favor for being a douchebag. No, that's not how it works. I care about your bottom line about as much as you care about mine. So, no, fuck off. That's what I think of you. Right, Direnzo? Don't be a fucking douchebag. Run an honest business for once. Right? There's a lot of legitimate tow companies out there that don't have these problems, right? That aren't predatory. Let other people have a piece of the pie, right? I hate monopolies. And essentially what's happened here is this guy has formed somewhat of a monopoly. Yes, there are other tow agencies in the state or in central Massachusetts, right? But they don't get the calls. They're not number one in the phone book for the Massachusetts State Police. So, they don't have the lobbying power that this guy has. They don't have $40,000 lying around to donate to various political campaigns. So, sorry. You're on your own. All right. Why don't we take any questions you guys have? I'll answer any questions. New website, she says. Yeah. TB Daily News. We have two websites now. We got Turtle Boy Sports, right? And a lot of people don't know the difference. Turtle Boy Sports and TB Daily News. And other people have said, well, TB Daily News, redirects. What the hell? It's like we have two websites, dude. So every blog, right? So South Shore Turtle Girl writes a blog. Or North Shore Turtle Babe writes a blog, right? She writes this blog today about Two Smoke and this chocolate chip cookie hoe slam pig. So that's a pretty provoking title. No? I mean, that's the kind of title right there that contains naughty words that gets us in trouble, right? That titles like that are the reason that we've been essentially demonetized and blacklisted by Google AdSense, and which is why we probably make less than $1 for every 1,000 page views on TurtleBoySports.com now. Much less than $1, actually. So we used to make $4. So imagine that, losing 75 to 80% of your income like that on ads. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, I need to get back up to, my normal rate, which is $4 or whatever. So I create TB Daily News. But it's like starting from scratch. You know what I mean? And so TB Daily News doesn't mess around, right? TB Daily News tells the same story. So North Shore Turtle Babe writes an article. She tells me it's done. Go. I review everything now. So I go in there and I review it. And I publish hers, and then I take her story, and I put it on TB Daily News without the provoking headlines. So you take this same story, and it's now rap legend Two Smoke arrested with new girlfriend for attacking and threatening victim outside of Putnam Walmart. Straightforward, guys. That's the news. That's what happened. You could argue rap legend. He's not really a legend, but he's a legend in my mind. Okay? So there's nothing inappropriate about this. And we no longer share Turtle Boy articles on Facebook. We only share TB Daily News, if you've noticed that as well. Because we get 30,000 people a day that go directly to TurtleBoySports.com. Those are the non-Facebook people, right? So they're going to, people are going to go to Turtle Boy anyway. TB Daily News only gets about 1,000 direct hits every day. So we have to share it on social media or else it won't be seen by a large audience. And because these titles are non-controversial, I feel like they're going to be less likely to get taken down. right? I think that's a big reason that we've had so many issues with Facebook is, let's face it, like, you can't say fupa sloth 5 billion times in a title and, or call someone a grundle cunt or whatever and expect that Facebook's just going to let it stay up. That's the fact of the matter, right? So we got to play by their rules because it's their playground, and that's fine. We can do that. I can tell the same story in a somewhat amusing manner without calling someone a spunk trumpet. See what I'm saying? So that's why we have 2 websites. I hope that clears things up. All right, any other question? Why you called Uncle and not just Turtle Boy? I don't know how that started, to be perfectly honest with you. That's a great legend story. People just started calling me that, man. I have no freaking clue how or who the person was. No app for the TB News site. No, not yet. Eventually down the line, there will be. That requires an investment, and quite frankly, investments. It's not really an investment because you're not making any money off of that long term. But down the line, once I get more capital and I stop getting sued so much, then we could talk about that. What else are people saying? Do you have anything new on the GRC in Milford? So, I had a nice little meeting last Thursday with Fat Man. I met him, Fat Man, down in Sutton. We had a nice little coffee together, and we talked about the Gan Rivka Center. Now, he and State Rep Brian Murray are drafting a letter to DCF demanding to have a list of everybody that DCF has ever referred to this, because that's where they can get involved. They can get involved in state stuff, and DCF is a state agency. So they are going to take the lead in that regard. Okay? Now, the good part about the GRC is they run on private donations, and they ain't going to be coming in any more private donations. Like, we killed them for that. So it's really only a matter. This is a wait out the clock situation with Hadassah. She's desperate. That's why she's calling the cops on me. Because she knows the social media platform access is a civil rights campaign that I've been pushing, and he completely agrees with that, as well as potential legislation that would address tort reform, essentially, in that I feel like if you sue someone in civil court and you lose, you should pay court expenses of the other person, because this turns into a playground for the rich and wealthy, as we've seen in several lawsuits. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that. Other questions, let's see. It's not Facebook, it's the people you're writing about, reporting. Not sure what that means, but let's see. I'm happy with the regular TBS. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can go to either one. You can go to regular TBS or TV Daily News, whatever you prefer. I don't know how to do that. How do I do that? Like, can you guys tell, like, if I flip it around, I mean, how do I do that? People keep saying that, but I don't know how to do that. If you could show me, that'd be great. How often do you stream on YouTube? I stream every Tuesday, Thursday at 9:30, and then on Saturday, unless there's a game on or something, at 9 o'clock with Brett, and sometimes a guest. I'm still hoping to get to eat at the Misery Cafe, I know. Bill's Mafia even loves Turtle Boy. That's awesome. Yeah, Bill's Mafia invented Turtle Boy. Other questions? Just going through here. The video of Josh terrorizing the old couple was extremely disturbing. Brett and I got into this in detail on Saturday night's live show, so go back and watch that one if you haven't already. Did I miss the Direnzo monologue? Yes, you did. But I'm sure we'll talk about it again over the weekend because I can't wait to hear Brett's thoughts on that. I really need to meet you at a meet and greet. Bristol and I have an event in Taunton on Saturday, so you'll be able to meet us there if you'd like. Do you have any new plans for a fundraiser? Not yet, but I'd like to. It's the selfie mode. I'm not using my phone. I'm using my computer. So the computer it's like a reflection of what I'm seeing right now, you know? Failure Swift, haven't heard much about her. Court works very slowly. Dude who sent you serious death threats, what's up with him? Charges are being filed against him by the Holden police, so that's good. Any new fundraising plans? Not really. I mean, I've been looking for a salesman for quite some time. It never works out. So, I don't know. It's like I keep looking for solutions, but I think a big solution is TB Daily News, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, this is a potential source of revenue that could fix our problem if TB Daily News continues to grow. So, I would recommend reading TB Daily News as much as possible, although Turtle Boy's still good shit, too. Ever think about doing a history of Brett series? Here's the history of Brett. I'll give you the history of Brett. Drank a lot and smoked a lot of weed as a kid. Went fishing. Didn't care much for school, but was still smart. Got into a little armed robbery. Had a lot of trouble with the law. Right? Pumped out some kids who pumped out their own kids. Now he's living in Maine with the wifey, drinking, and doing odd jobs here and there, paying the bills to get by. That's the story of Brett. And, getting kicked off Facebook pretty much every other hour. That's the story of Brett in a nutshell, and being one of the funniest people I've ever met as well. What else you guys got here? Apt to have you sign the book. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you guys, What happened to Professor Sonia? Professor Sonia Connor, I mean, that's kind of a... I don't know if you're being serious, Brian. She died, dude, like a little over a year ago. Sonia Connor, she died of cancer, so downer. She was one of our original, Turtle Boy villains, if you will. Anything on Dante? Dante's just... wait, which Dante are we talking about? Dante Comparetto or Dante Pagan? There's two bad Dantes. Are you in Bristol speaking Saturday? No, yeah, we're going to have a little booth set up, right? A little booth set up. And we're just going to be hanging out, selling. We'll have t-shirts. We're getting new t-shirts that'll be available for sale there that day. Come on down. How many bodies does Brett have stored in his basement? At least three. At least three, I'd say. How'd you meet Brett? I met Brett through the blog. I mean, he was just a commenter, man. He's been commenting since the Busgate days, which was 5 years ago now. And, he just started commenting a lot. And then when I started doing the live show, I'm like, let's get this guy on. Let's see what he does. So I got picked up by Matty Moe, who doesn't really comment much anymore, but he was like kind of like Brett Jr. And Matty Moe and I went up to his house up in the middle of nowhere up on Route 2. And it was pretty wild. We did a live show. I mean, meeting Brett in person is quite the experience. Let me tell you that much. And that is the story of Brett. What else you guys got? Yeah, you forgot the part where Brett and I battled for days and then became friends. It's true. It's true, guys. Bristol and Brett hated each other. Hey, I mean, it was mostly Bristol hating him, not so much the other way around. They had their own reasons why. First of all, I had issues with Brett earlier on. Like, a lot of people forget that. And I think this is a big part of Turtle Boy that other people should adopt. I don't want to say I do everything perfectly. But the ability to get over shit is a really important thing to do and move on with your life. Like, think about the amount of destructive people that have caused serious damage to my life. Particularly Kevin Lynch, right? Think of what that guy did to my life. If you're a newer Turtle Rider, don't know what Kevin Lynch is, go back and search him. He's the most destructive force that's ever come in contact with Turtle Boy. And he's done some real damage to me financially. But you know what? I had Kevin Lynch on my show last year, right, with Brett. And we yelled at each other, and we said some awful things, and then we just agreed to disagree. And I got no beef with Kevin Lynch now. I think that's really important, right? I had beef with Brett before. Right? I think there was probably about 2 years ago, we had this group called, and I'll tell you people, but there was this group called the Splinter Cell on Facebook. It was a private group. And I was in there, and there was another woman in there who I will not name, who I was talking to privately, and I said something about, she said something about Brett, and I said something about Brett to her, assuming this is a private conversation, right? And it was like insulting things about Brett, okay? And what does this chick do? She screenshots it and sends it to Brett, right? And so he's insulted by it. And next thing you know, I didn't know she sent this to him. I'm kicked out of the Splinter Cell group. Nobody told me. I'm like wondering why. I go to ask Brett. He's blocked me, right? Matty Mo has blocked me. All the other Splinter Cell people, except for like 2, have blocked me. They all turned on me. And I'm like, what the And then I turned on them. And I turned into a big spectacle too. And I talked shit about Brett publicly. And it turned into this whole thing. Brett and I didn't talk for like 3 months. I've done this with a lot of my friends, right? Where I don't talk to them for a little bit. But you know what? You just get over it, right? You just like, whatever. What am I going to hold a grudge against you my whole life? Come on. Life is too short for that shit. I would have Didi Delgado on. I would have any of my worst enemies on here, right? Because I don't give a shit. Like, except maybe Mike Gaffney. I don't know if I can ever get over Mike Gaffney. I might be. I mean, I just don't like him. Like, I don't find anything likable about him. I was willing to get over Brett and everybody else because I find them likable, right? But Brett, but Mike Gaffney is just, I don't know if I can like that guy. I just don't like him as a person. I don't like what he stands for. I don't like him. I mean, Didi Delgado, it's like, I don't like her either at all. I think she's terrible, but I'm intrigued by her, at least. Michael Gaffney I'm not intrigued by in the least. Nobody likes Michael Gaffney. So, there's that part. And so I think long story short, I think it's important for people to forgive and forget. I don't know if you guys remember Feisty, right? You guys remember Feisty? She used to write for me, and she was my favorite live guest, too. Well, she's not here anymore, largely because her and Brett had issues. And they hate each other. I'm not going to get into the reasons why, but they hate each other. Now, I'm willing to bring Feisty back, but she won't come on because Brett's there. And I'm sure if I told Brett the same thing, he would say the same thing. They couldn't be in the same room together. And I guess that's the difference between me and everyone else, right? They both said some fucked up shit to each other. I'm not going to get into it, but it's really messed up. But if I was either of them, I would just get over it. That's just me. I have an ability to do that. Not everyone else has that ability. So, anyway, sorry to ramble about that. Comparetto for school committee. Yeah, so, the Dante Comparetto, he is just waiting out his time on the school committee, basically. He's not running for re-election. There is another loser, Tracy Novick. We put her in the Turtle Boy graveyard 4 years ago, who's running again, and she got into the top 6 in the primary, so we need to kick her ass out for the general election, Worcester people. So get out and don't vote for her. Vote for my girl Laura Clancy, right? John Monfredo, Brian O'Connell, the good people that stood by the superintendent. That's who we want in there. The Worcester State yoga pants lady. Yes, she died. Yes, I used to call her Boom Boom because she looked good. I'm not gonna lie, but Sonia Connors died. Sorry. Sorry. Any other questions you guys have? Does Bristol hate everyone at first? Everyone except me. I feel like she never had. I mean, sometimes she's had problems with me. Like last week, I got really frustrated. And I'll be honest, I got frustrated with the freaking show last week with the audio, and I freaked out. And I said some shit in a private group that I shouldn't have said, right? And she got pissed at me for it for like the first time, and I apologized because I was in the wrong, right? And I don't want to upset her. So it's important that you recognize, I think, that when you're in the wrong, you need to admit you're in the wrong and move on, and keep relationships going, right? Because life is too short to have grudges or whatever, and not get over shit. What else you guys got? I want to know how Josh came on the Turtle Boys radar. Someone just sent us a video of him. That kind of just happens. People just alert us to this stuff. So if Brett and Turtle Boy became friends with Turtle Boy and Josh became... I would have Josh on here. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm willing to forgive... I'll forgive Josh Abrams. Because like Dee Dee, I find him intriguing. Right? He's a complete douchebag. But he's just... I hate Mike Gaffney more than him. I hate it, you know. Comment section. I recruited a lot. I recruited North Shore Turtle Babe and Merrimack, both from the comments section, because I liked their comments so much that I wanted them to blog. And she was good at it, but it was just a personality mix-up with there's just too many personalities going on at one time, you know? Other questions you guys have? No, Brett won't be there on Saturday. So you can't ask him about Feisty on that day. You'll never get over the guy who threatened you last week. I would get over that. I'm not going to lie. I would get over that. I would be like, you're a bitch. And I'm not scared of you. But I could get over that. I can't get over Mike Gaffney, though. I can't do it. You ever hear from Manch? No, she's gutless, man. Manch fucked the Mammoth Yoga Poon or whatever that I'm being sued for. Like, that's bullshit. There's nothing wrong with her blog. Nothing. That could happen to anyone. The Manch thing, that one pissed me off because, like, she promised him that she would write something positive. Allegedly. I haven't seen this in writing. He claims that this happened. The pet tracker guy, Ace Ventura. And no, Manch just, it's like, where are you? Western Mass Turtle Girl would not do this to me. Right? I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I don't want to throw Manch under the bus. But what pisses me off is she hasn't even reached out to be like, sorry, or can I help? So, yeah. Anything else you guys got here? Any updates on Hot Tow Truck Girl? Yeah, she's somewhere in a hotel right now, getting high and thinking about the next way to scam Josh's followers out of money. That's the update. Yeah, he was mean as fuck. That apology is not accepted. We need at least 120 seconds of straight apology. Yeah, I think Eddie Ellison's in that group too. Oh, well, thank you, Turtle J. I mean, I was pissed. I mean, I was not pissed. I was frustrated. And like, I think I have like anxiety or something. Because this is like my baby, Turtle Boy, right? And so like I get nervous. And I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't even watch the show. I should have watched it afterwards. I watch it live, I get too nervous. All right, anything else? What do you think of the new allegations against Antonio Brown? The farting? Is that what you're talking about? I think they're fucking bullshit. I think the guy farted in the doctor's office. Big deal. Get over it. I don't think Josh can forgive Turtle Boy. Well, that's his problem. I can only control myself. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure. GI Turtle wants to come on back soon. Maybe I'll have to get him back on. I mean, that's the thing. And Matt Greeno brings up a good point. As soon as the audio was fixed, it was freaking phenomenal, the show. Phenomenal. So I'm like freaking out over nothing. And that's why I felt stupid afterwards. I'm like, oh, man. I feel like social media would be a lot better, right? 90% of our problems would disappear if social media forced us to wait 15 minutes before we posted anything. If we go to hit that enter button, you get 15 minutes to think about it before it finally publishes. That should be a thing. Sorry, I'm reading all these. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can. Yeah, I mean, you got to forgive and forget, man. I mean, it's bad radio. You know, if I'm the host, I need to be able to have anyone on. Even like Tucker Carlson has the most, like he has Rachel Rollins on there a lot, and that's great. You know, you need to have on people that you don't like, and that don't like you, and that have wronged you in the past. You need to be able to talk about these things. So I think that's important. Whatever happened to Brockton Turtle Boy? That's old school right there. Brockton Turtle Boy's still a turtle rider, man. He's a good guy. I like Brockton Turtle Boy a lot. And I see him in the comments sometimes. I'm not going to say who he is, but he was my first, real blogger outside of Worcester that really helped me move. But he just doesn't have the time for it, You should have Hot Tow Truck Girl on your show. I'd love to have Hot Tow Truck Girl on my show. I'd love it. We have an open forum, but these people don't want to engage like I want to engage. You know what I mean? So it's a one-way street. No, I have not read the Sports Illustrated article on Antonio Brown. I have not read that. All right. Trying to read these. Any other questions? I wasn't mad at Uncle Turtle Boy, by the way. I was just sticking up for the crew. Yes, that's very true. She was. I didn't think she was mad. I was more worried, to be perfectly honest with you, about losing her. Like, that's what I was freaking about. It's like, if you don't keep morale high, like, I love Bristol. I would be devastated if I lost Bristol. So, if I have to keep her happy. Like, I have to keep everyone happy. If you are a dick of a boss, then no one's going to want to work for you. So I think keeping morale up, and I could tell, I let her down. For the first time, I'd really let her down. And that's what, oh my God, that's not good. I got to fix that, All right, anything else here? Any chance you can get Minahan on? I bet I could get Minahan on. I can ask him. I'll see what he says. I don't know if Barstool will let him. But it wouldn't surprise me to get Minahan on it. All right, anything else here? Hey, Masswell's wife, I hope you had a good time here tonight. Welcome to the show. You make it seem like you need to feed her chum to keep her satiated. No, it's not like that. It's just like any boss, right? If you treat your workers like shit, then no one's gonna want to work for you. Like nobody's gonna want that. I'm not in a position right now where I can be picky either. So I gotta keep, when I see talent, you gotta keep it. You know what I mean? And more than just, it's not that she's just talented, which she is. It's that she's resourceful and her heart's in it. I can't teach heart. Like, other bloggers don't have the heart that she has for this. Like, she wants this to succeed. I feel like if Turtle Boy stopped existing tomorrow, she would be the most disappointed out of everyone. So, can you come to talk to my boss about this? Yeah, exactly. I wish I could have talked to some of my bosses about that, Okay, Masshole Audit says, the biggest problem with you is you're not allowed to have a difference of opinion without being attacked verbally. I think you should. See, that's not true. That's not true. If that was true, I would attack you right now, but I'm not. You're confusing me with Turtle Riders, right? When you come on Turtle Boy Sports and you leave a comment that people disagree with, right? Or you attack the blog, I'm not going to jump on you. They might. Turtle Riders bite. So I can't control that, though. That's just the internet, man. So I'm not going to attack you. Sorry for having different opinions or whatever. You're calling me out. Go ahead. We'll go back and forth. I think you're misunderstanding a verbal exchange and a disagreement with attacking. There's a big difference there. Anything else you guys want? Bristol's coming out with Hot Tow Truck Girl Thursday. We gotta talk. I'll talk to her later about that. Sounds interesting. What local person is at the top of your list for interview? I don't have any. Maybe I should start doing that. If you guys have any good guests you'd like to have me to have on, like people you'd like me to interview, people of certain not, they don't have to be that well known, but interesting people to have on here. Send me recommendations. I'll have anyone on as a guest. All right, guys. So looks like we're done here. So it's been a long night, long show anyway. Good, definitely good question and answer period. I definitely like this part a lot. And we will see you guys Thursday. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.